So effectively this is just me making a bit of a fool of myself trying to install a Flask app and get it running. So let's make this happen. So first of all, let's go to the command prompt. There's my command prompt, up it comes. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cd into a folder that I've got pre-prepared there, so dev. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is start up a virtual environment. So virtual env, and what we're going to call this, let's just call it env just for fun. And now we're going to set up our virtual environment. That's all happening in the background for us, and in the meantime I can click that and say hello to everyone just because I can. As you can see, we're in the Shrunky Shed right now, broadcasting. I'm wearing a hat and coat because, to be honest with you, it's cold, and actually this lighting's not very good, is it? So as you can still see, we're still kind of installing this and making this happen. So let me just change the lighting a little bit right there. There we go. Lighting has been altered. Absolutely superb. And we're just going to have a look over here at our live dashboard. There we go. Okay, and if I pop back here again, we're all installed now and ready to go. So now that that's happened, we can cd into env right here, because that's a directory that's been created when we made our virtual environment. And if we now go, we can start this by using scripts.activate. And we are now working within our virtual environment. And the first thing we're going to want to do is install Flask. So pip install Flask. And this is a relatively simple thing to do. So that's that. Flask installs a lot quicker than Django does, because Django takes absolutely ages. So that's all happened, and we are pretty much good to go now. So let's have let's use our editor of choice right here. So we're going to do this in Visual Studio Code. There we go, and let's open up and make a start, I guess. So let's open up a folder here. I'm going to go right back through there into dev. So there we go, dev env, and we can just kind of go from here, I guess. Yeah, let's just go from there. So select and folder dev. There we are, and somewhere within here we're going to have where's my Flask file? This is a good start, isn't it? I've lost my Flask file. I've got no idea where this is. Right, let's get rid of that anyway. Let's have a little look there. Pretty sure I pip installed Flask there into env, so it should be somewhere in here. Where are we? Scoopy doopy doopy doopa. Okay, well anyway, we're somewhere in here. Oh man, I've gone pip install Flask and I haven't got a clue where on earth my directory is. So let's go and take a quick look. Okay, anyway, well we're going to go off the assumption that we're all kind of here. We're around here somewhere. So let's go ahead then, start a new directory, and let's just call it Flask App. Now let's go into Flask App, let's have a new file here, and we're just going to call that app.py. Now, whenever we start a new Flask app, we need to do a few things. So first things first, we need to start by importing Flask. So from Flask import Flask, that's with a capital right there, and then app equals Flask. So when we go right ahead and come to run this in just a second, all of this is going to mean that we can just start. So flask.root, and what we're doing here is we're just specifying where exactly our URL is. So at the moment we're just going to quickly code a very simple home page. We're not even going to code it really at all. We're literally just going to be writing something just to make sure it's working. So return, and we'll do the thing that we love to do. So let's just say, hello world, hello work. There we go. And what should we do next? If name equals main, that's what we want to do. Seems about right. If name equals main, app.run. Now, I'm reasonably certain that we're kind of covered now and that this should now do what we want it to do. So let's go ahead and open up a terminal. And we're opening up a terminal right there, which is great. And are we going to run now? Yep, and it looks like we are running. So let's just take a look and see if this is happening. I say take a look. So let's go ahead and move this over here. And we should now be able to go on our development server. Which one is it again? Let's have a little look. So there's 127. Makes it a bit smaller so I can actually see what I'm doing. And this is just our local host. So this is just running on my computer. It's not being pushed anywhere. It's not happening anywhere. And there we go. This is what we've done, and we've got Hello World happening right there. Now, at first glance, it's nice, but it's fairly simple. But really, we want to be able to do something a little bit more than just say Hello World. So why don't we start off by doing something else? So as well as importing Flask, we're also going to import render template, and this is going to enable us to use an HTML template eventually to return, as opposed to just this text hello world. Now there's nothing at all stopping us right here. In fact, if we wanted to, we could write a whole bunch of HTML, and that would just appear on the page. So let's say I were to just change this and maybe put an h1 tag there. Oops, what did I just delete? There we go. So I can put an h1 tag there. I can close it off with another h1 tag. And go ahead and save this. And now if I refresh this, we should... Ooh, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Maybe I need to put these... Yeah, let's return this as a string. That's probably what it was. Probably what was going wrong. And now after doing this... I say now after doing this, man. Okay, well, at the moment, we're literally just returning that. For some reason, we're not really returning anything. Let me just confirm actually that this is working at all. Hey, so why are we not changing here? Have I got to turn this off and turn it on again? Why don't we do this? So let's close and so let's stop the server, and then we'll run it. So let's do python app.py again. Python app.py once more. Oh, and it says doesn't like that. So I reckon that I should have had. There we go. That should have been a string right there. So let's see if it likes it again now. There's actually a line of code that you can add up there that will mean that every time you do something, it updates automatically. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. Is this running now? This is running now. So let's just see. So for the time being, every time we change something, we'll have to. There we go. So now we're doing what we need to be doing. Now I've got a little hunch here that that every time I change this now, I've got to turn the server off and turn it on again. So let's just, oops, so let's just see if that's the case here. So that's saved now, and that should just, yeah, okay. So basically every time I change something, I'm going to have to go back, we're going to have to stop the server and start again. In a different video, I'll show you how to get around that, but to be quite frank, I can't remember how to do that right now. So anyway, that's all well and good. So we could have like an HTML page if we wanted to, but that's not a very practical way to do things. So instead of just returning that string there, we're going to do render template, and then as an argument into render template, we're going to add in an HTML file. But the problem is we don't actually have an HTML file yet, which is bad news. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up a new folder. We're going to call it templates. Just templates, sorry. Let's call the folder templates. And then inside that folder, we're going to have a file which we're just going to call base.html. And so this is going to be our base.html file. And if we just type in, let's have h1 yo to make it a bit different to the other one. Let's just save that. Now I'm reasonably certain at this point that if I now type here base, bases, all your bases that belong to us.html, and go ahead and save. I'm going to have to close the server to stop it, and then Python app.py. The reason we're typing app.py is because this is what we're actually running. We're running this right here. So let's just save that once more. It won't make any difference, but anyway. And off we go. So if we go ahead and refresh this now, this is now no longer displaying the stuff we had there. It's displaying stuff in base HTML, which says yo. So if we go back there, we should remind ourselves that says yo, because I'm all hip and stuff like that. But another thing we can do here is if we just move that out of the way there, if we just search for Bootstrap, and we're going to go ahead and grab some code that's going to make what we're doing look a little bit nicer. So get started. Let's just scoot down here. Skirt. There we go. Doc type. Up we come. Just copy and paste that. And we're literally just going to lift that into there. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing this because that's the whole purpose of it. They want you to use their framework. And then if we go ahead and save this now, let's stop, and let's go again. Python app.py. Let's ignore that pile into stuff there. And we should now be able to see that it'll still print hello world for us, but it'll just look a little bit nicer. So there we go. It's a little bit neater there. Now, again, that's all well and good, but there's something else that we can do as well. First of all, let's go ahead and put another page in there, because why not? Because it's nice to have multiple pages on a website after all. So app.root, not route, because we are not American. And let's have one called about, because that's nice and original. There you go, it says about. Can you hear that dog in the background? That's next door neighbour's dog. About. And this time we can return render template. And let's have about.html now. And of course, this isn't going to work if we were to do this now. We've actually got to go back. We've got to add another template into here. So let's go and do that. So let's have about.html. And we're going to grab the same code as we've got here, which isn't actually ideal because it's not good to just keep on reusing code. We're going to deal with that in just a second. So instead of hello world, why don't we have the title of this page be about, and then the tag here we'll just say let me tell you about stuff. Let me tell you about stuff. That'll do. And let's stop our server and Python app.py. Start again. And now if we refresh this, you can see this is exactly the same here, But now if I add /about into the URL, we've also got that page. Now we haven't got any other pages, so I can type in other stuff. I can type in things and it'll return me absolutely nothing, but we've got about right here. Okay, so let me tell you, and that's nice. Now in Python there's this concept, dry, don't repeat yourself, and actually I've repeated myself twice here. So I've used the same page, exactly the same code twice, which actually isn't great practice. It's bad news. So why don't we do this? Why don't we have another HTML file called template, and it doesn't matter that it's called template. It's a different name to templates, and it's a file, not a directory anyway. And we're actually going to go ahead and lift this code right here. Now, Flask is Ginger enabled, which is fantastic. Where's it gone? There's template. There we go. Flask Ginger enabled, which means you can use Ginger templating language and all that kind of stuff. So how about this? Rather than having hello world in body, let's go ahead and get rid of this. And if I go like this, use curly braces and Ginger formatting, and let's call this block. We're going to work in blocks, block content, and then let's just go end block right after that. Now what I'm doing here is I'm setting this up so that I can add in whatever content I want in between these two areas here. So whatever content I want. Where's that content going to come from? Well, actually it's going to come from base HTML, which is my home page, and it's going to come from about. So let me show you how that works. So we can go to base HTML now. Let's just get rid of all of that. For some reason that didn't delete, so let's get rid of that then. Highlight again and delete. Off we go. Because I'm a noob. And we now need to tell it where it's going to insert the stuff that we put on this page. So I'm going to write here extends, and then as a string, template, just template.html. Alright, extends template.html. Now, what this means is that when I eventually come to run this, the information here will be reflected somewhere on here. Now, where exactly on here? Well, I've got to tell it. And so this kind of tag, if you like, that I've typed there, I'm going to take that to base.html, and I'm going to dump it here, and then whatever I type in HTML in between these two blocks is what's going to be inserted there into template. So whatever I type here is going to get inserted there, which is useful. So let's have an h1 tag there, and let's say looks like a new home page to me. Let's do that. And then I'm actually going to copy all of this, and let's go to about now. Let's just highlight this and paste that in there, and I'm so gonna tell you about stuff. There we go. So let's save that, and let's just make sure all of these are saved right now, because of course this isn't. Oh, there you go. That wasn't saved. Nice of it to tell me. And so now if we go ahead and stop this server, actually let's do something else that's kind of interesting. Why don't we have no, let's not do that yet. Let's just stop this server. So Control and C to stop the server here, and now Python app.py. So restarting the server, and now if I go back here, this is now my home page. There we go. Oh, internal server error. So for some reason, okay, unexpected curly brace somewhere. So I've dumped a curly brace. Oh, there we go. That's what's wrong. All right, there we go. Which means that it's probably also going to be a problem that's on the about page as well. Yeah, absolutely. That's my bad. Okay, let's save both of those, and let's go and try again. So let's get out of that. I think Python app.py. And off we go. I should be able to go back to this, and it'll be working. Oh my goodness, we're still not doing innermost block needs to be closed is block. So what are we doing now? What's wrong here? So about, so it's base HTML, block content, end block, extends template.html, template.html. Oh, there we go. Oh man, so many errors here, it's unreal. You just got to be a bit careful, haven't you, really? Control C to stop that again. Python app.py. It's what coding is. It's like 50% writing stuff and the rest of the time's debugging. Man, and there's still an issue there. Innermost block needs to be closed is the block. I really can't see what the problem is here. Really can't see what the issue is. Let me have give me a quick second to have a little think about what else could be up here. Ooh. So we're all HTML files. Man, I just can't see what else is wrong with this. Extends template.html, block content. Looking for the following tags, end block. So it looks like there's an end block. Oh, okay, all right. It's because it's not end block with spaces. That's just me being a bit of a noob there again. There we go. Okay, Control C to get out of that. Python app.py, and off we go. Let's try again. There we go. And now if I go ahead and do about, and so I'm now using that one template and I'm literally just inserting stuff into that template. So that's useful because at this point we no longer just have to have say just a static site. We can also make a dynamic site, and that's what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do is something that's not really that impressive, but it's just going to demonstrate how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to make 2 other pages now. There we go. There's 2 other pages. One of these pages is going to be called question. So let's change this to question as well. And one of these pages is going to be called answer. Not going to bother changing the templates yet because we're going to have to make new templates anyway, so it's not a problem. So let's go ahead at this point and make those. So let's have question.html, and into that we're going to paste the same stuff as before, which is now all corrected and which now has no problems in it. And in our h1 tag here, let's just say 3. What is 3 plus 2? And then underneath that, let's have another heading. So let's just have heading 2, and we're going to have a URL here. It's just a relative URL though, so I should be able to do this. So let's have that to answer, and then we're going to say click to find the answer. And Visual Studio Code has kindly added in those extra tags for me, so I haven't got to worry about that. Let's save that, and then let's have another template. Let's call that answer.html. going to paste in the same stuff as before. Actually, we might just paste in the question stuff because why not? So we're still extending template.html, so it's still the same. It's the same kind of formatting stuff as before. So 5. The answer is 5. And then instead of going back to answer, we're just going to go back to question. Click to do that again, because it was so scintillating. It was just absolutely incredible, wasn't it? And we're going to save those. Let's go back to app.py now. And of course, we're going to go to question.py. Question.html, sorry, here, and we're going to go to answer.html there. Okay, and that's saved. So let's close this off, restart it, and now if I go to question, what is 3 plus 2? Click to find the answer. So I'm going to click here now, and now it tells me that the answer is 5, and then I can click and I can go and do it again. What is 3 plus 2? In case I've forgotten, that answer is most definitely 5. There it is. Still 5, still 5, still 5. Isn't that wonderful? But we're going to take this one step further now. As well as kind of just inserting stuff into the templates, we can also do stuff dynamically as well. So how about we do this? How about we say from random import randint, and let's do this. Let's have A is equal to randint 1 to 5. And then we'll do the same for something called B. And then what we can do is we can add these as arguments right here. So we can, and so when we go to question.html, we can actually go ahead and insert certain things into there. So we can say val1 equals A, and we can have val2 equals B. So we've got val1 and val2 which we're going to go and insert into that. So let's go back to question again, and instead of what is 3 plus 2, if we use double curly brackets and say val1 plus, copy and paste because I'm lazy, plus val2, and now if we stop this and start it again, so let's go stop, and then python .py, stop and start again. Now if we go to question, so let's click on this, it'll take me back to question. Now we've got different numbers, and the numbers should be different every time. And so you can see we're now passing things dynamically into our web page. Just for the sake of completeness, for the sake of keeping everything kind of complete, we're going to go and do the same thing as well for answer. Let's do this, shall we? C equals A plus B, global, I know you're not meant to do this, but just global C, say for now, C equals 0, Okay, that'll do it. Global C, and then we should be able to just return. Oh, no, we don't need to return anything actually. Let's just call it answer. No, we can't do that. Let's call it ans equals C. And at this point, you probably know what we're going to do already. We're going to go back through to answer. The answer is ans. There we go. And with that having been done, it should now be possible if I just turn this off and restart again. Python app.py. Oops. What's going on? Its name C is assigned to before global declaration. Okay, so that's a problem back here then. All right. So let's just move this up to there instead. See if that does it. Okay. Python app.py, and off we go. And there we go. The answer is 8. And of course, I left that 5 in there for some reason. So 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 4 should be 7 over here. I accidentally left that 5 in there. And so there we go. That's how to make a Flask app and get it to do something a little bit dynamic. And that's pretty much it. And this is DevJolt signing off.